Deluxe, designer, gourmet, high performance, high filtration, stick vac. Is it really that good? I'm going to tell you the truth about these things. This is a Shark Rocket True Pet, model number HV3322. It's horrible. Now, before I start talking about why I hate this thing with a passion, I know that someone is gonna go say, well, to be fair, Shark, yeah, I'm gonna say, Dylan, shut up. I don't want to hear it right now. I hate this thing, and I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't buy one, and I don't need anyone's input on this. Especially guys that say once you use a real vacuum, you're gonna be wishing you never used that. You know what? I don't care about your opinion, even if it's the same as mine. This is my thoughts, my process of what I did with this. And here's what I think about it. I don't need anyone's input unless they're someone I really know, like Rick Hoover. Anyone else? Get out. Now, for you people who come in looking for buyer's advice, this is a really bad idea. First of all, one thing that's really ridiculous is the bin size. Shark claims this is 2 times the capacity of the regular rocket, which is really sad, because this is a bin out of the pet hair eraser behind me, and even that's not that big for a vacuum, but it holds way more than this does. Also, it picks up a lot more. But we'll get into that in a few seconds. One thing that really upsets me is the big capacity itself. You can't fit anything in here, really. Seriously, I used this on my bare floors and it was basically halfway full, which doesn't show how well this cleans, because this cleans rather horribly compared to other stuff I used, like the magical black and yellow thing sitting behind me, or even this. That thing. This is really a pathetic vacuum cleaner, and you really shouldn't buy one. One of the main things that this brand pushes is a complete sealed system. I've used this 3 times. Does this look like a complete sealed system to use? There's dirt bunched up everywhere, there's hair in here, and it's dirty. It's with what little suction it had before, it's probably lost about 10% of it. And it's just so disappointing because they put so much marketing behind these, but they don't put any actual thought into the design. These cyclones are not smart. I don't care what you have to say. These cyclones are stupid. This shroud is right here where all the dirt can get in, and even the shroud itself gets wrapped up more than a Dyson brush roll, even the ones on the 14s, which is just so unbearably dumb. Now, one thing they claim, other than never lose the suction, which I just covered in why that's BS, is, well, I've already talked about complete seal system, but this thing didn't even come with a post-motor filter. Someone dropped it off and there was nothing in there. Even then, there's no pleated filter that comes with any of these. And when they do, they often start to leak. Yeah, I've seen shark filters start leaking because all that cavity that they sit in just gets so full of dust and it starts blowing everything out past the seals because there's just so much in there. It's a miracle that there's even a company. Even says clean filter monthly, but with how much stuff is getting let through, I'd say clean it after every use at this point. There's a little LED light up here that's supposed to make cleaning easier, although you can't really turn it off when it's plugged into this glorified piece of plastic. It's not an option, it's always on, which eventually, knowing light bulbs, is going to burn out. And also, when you're off emptying your dustbin or you're washing it for, to wash it, to get it clean, where are you gonna dock this? Where are you gonna dock this whole thing? Nowhere. It's just gonna be sitting on the floor like this for people to trip over because the geniuses forgot that you would probably also be docking the head while the bin is somewhere else. There is no engineering behind these. It's just planned obsolescence. Now let's move on to the Powerhead, which is really a pathetic thing. Claims to be next level high performance carpet and bare floor cleaning. Even with the Dyson Slim Ball that's sitting next to me, the one with the red cyclone, the DC-40 with a beefed up Powerhead. It's horrible. It's really bad compared to even some of the pistols I've used. This Powerhead is really horrible. This brush roll, not good at all. Plush pile carpets, this carpet, and even hardwood floors. And the brush roll is still spinning, and the bristles are stiff enough that they don't clean the carpets good, but they will scratch up your floors if they're still moving. And these guys think it's such a genius idea when it's really going to cause damage to your floors. The only benefit I could give them is this little nylon strip on the bottom, which this Dyson has, which helps with fine stuff pick up. It has enough suction to even pick anything up. There's barely any suction, almost no airflow, even with the filters clean. Probably because the motor is literally this big. I'm not kidding. It's this big. The fan case is this round. This is a very close estimate of the circumference of the fan case. And this is a really accurate estimate of how big, how long, how tall it is, how tall the motor is. And they expect it to have twice the suction of something with a Panasonic motor in it. And I don't know if you know anything about Panasonic motors, but they're large. It's not a good machine. It doesn't pick up well. It doesn't filter well at all. Of course, what do you expect from sharks? You want something that filters well, go for something like that. Of course, they don't sell those anymore, which is a shame because they're the only good airspeeds they're the only airspeeds that people seem to think were good, even though I know for sure that their early non-cyclonic ones are better than any bagless junk you'll find now. But people seem to ignore those as they do with anything else, so I'm just going to pretend like those are bad machines. The AS1000 to the 1009. How about using it? What is it like using this thing? Well, have you ever forgotten what it's like to... Have you ever forgotten that you were carrying something and eventually your arm starts getting worn out and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, it's because I'm carrying this really heavy thing. Like, let's say I was walking around a shopping mall as a cleaning guy and I was carrying this thing around with me. My arms would eventually get tired from just carrying the thing. It kind of feels like that, but instead you're actually using the vacuum. I'm going to tell you something. None of these three uprights are going to tire out my arms as quickly as this stupid little thing right here. All the weight is down here, and some of it's up here too. Most of it's down there, and it doesn't drag itself along the carpet like the Maxima. It doesn't have a low center of gravity like either of these. It's frustrating to use and it's frustrating to maintain. Now, I know that Vac Lab, the magical man himself, says that no vacuum is designed to not be maintained. But tell me something, Mr. Man of 1,000 machines. Why security torques? I want to go up to Mark Rosa and just... Why security torques? You want people to like your vacuum, make him easy to maintain. No one in a vacuum shop is going to ever think of using security torque screws. In fact, they're just going to have standard Torx 20 or a T15 bit lying around. But why security torques? I'll tell you why, because they don't want people getting in there. Maintenance guys? No, screw them. They just want to pollute the world slightly more amongst themselves. And with the way this place really is going, it wouldn't be surprising if shark vacuums were one of the biggest causes for pollution. Also, have you listened to this thing? It's annoying. I'd rather have to listen to a tornado siren that has the radio stuck and it's been on for an hour, kind of like SJC. I'd rather be listening to a siren that's been stuck on for an hour than have to use this for 5 minutes. It's not a really quiet machine when you're standing behind it, and it's just so annoying to listen to when you're even standing 5 feet away from it. So why do people buy these? Because of marketing, advertising. They advertise them so much that people just assume that all advertisements are true. You know, your parents tell you don't believe everything you see online, but here they are when some rich man with money in mind says that his vacuum is better than anything on the market. They're gonna go and buy it. If you say don't believe everything you see on the internet, maybe you won't buy a shark. Is it? But if you do say that and you went ahead and bought one anyway, you're kind of being a hypocrite. But most parents are like that, let's be real. They say be respectful and they always yell at you for getting one missing homework assignment. But that's off topic, so... If you really believe that you shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet, you wouldn't buy one of these sticky pieces of junk. I'm Jack's Vaccine Safety, coming to you from a review of something that's utterly disappointing. And if you really are in the market for a vacuum, don't go for a bagless piece of stick junk like that. Go for something that has a bag in it. Bags are actually better in the long run despite what some people say about them. And if you buy the correct type of bags, those vacuums will last you a pretty long time. Even cheap Bissell Power Forces. You buy Clean Fairy HEPA bags and they'll last you decades. No matter how bad they are at cleaning. So, don't buy a Shark. Don't buy anything bagless, really, if you have bad allergies. But if you don't, then go for something that's, a decent bagless machine, like a Hoover. If you really don't care about extra dust being spewed all over the place, a Hoover, well, not really, because no one wants to deal with their warranty. But if you absolutely need a bagless machine, you're not going to want to buy a Shark. I'm Jack's Bags and Safety, signing out, and telling you one more time, don't buy cheap plastic junk that's overhyped and overmarketed. Like that thing. Whoever sells a good one, and get bags.